So I guess if you're a PC gamer, you are pretty much accustomed to what the Steam library looks like. It's basically a list of games that you have purchased on the platform over time, and depending on how much you like variety in terms of the games you play, your list could be huge. Look at my Steam list, for example. I got over 200 games just right here. Some of them I've not even touched even once. Seriously, don't buy the 10 surprise key listing on G2A ever. Like, ever. It's a topware trap. The point is, how functional this most visited page on Steam is, it hasn't seen all too many design changes since the major UI update from 2010. Yes, it received a color scheme change somewhere along the line, but I don't really call that a major update. Now, you may be thinking, so, does Steam really need a major library update? Isn't the page already tweaked to perfection? Well, technically, no, it doesn't need an update. But I mean, just look at the page and tell me that the page looks nice graphically. Were you able to keep a straight face? Well, if you did, congratulations. But I think there must be many of us out there who weren't able to, and who would love to see the design of the library page upgraded. Now, this is where Valve comes in. You know, the company that thought that printing games on discs exclusively was ridiculous and invented something that would battle physical media still to this day, only to go back to the printing business exclusively. You know, the money printing business. Yeah, that Valve. Valve has announced that they are redesigning the library page to bring it more in line with Steam's current style. Now, if you're wondering what that is, you would have to look no further than Steam's Friend system that was completely revamped last year. That's the kind of style that Steam is going to be wrapped in, and I expect that sooner or later the entire client will be restyled. But that's a topic for another video. Valve has actually released some screen caps showing what the new design currently looks like. Now, this can obviously change over time as the Steam team works on it some more, but we can definitely see what Valve is aiming to do here. The design looks a lot more modern and uses spacing a lot differently from what the design currently looks like. The current library design is kind of designed to show as much games on one page as possible without needing to scroll. That was the style back in 2010, and like I said, since then it hasn't changed much. Now, what is the best use of spacing is honestly a debate that many internet users have. Some people are more about the design, and others are more into functionality. I honestly think that too much spacing is an absolute waste of screen real estate. Look at Twitter, for example. This is my profile. Now, it all looks fine and dandy up here, but when you scroll down and down and down, you'll start to notice that there is a lot of wasted space to the left and right of the page. Like, what's up with that? You could easily start showing more tweets here. Hell, you could even make media tweets larger on the page so that they get more attention. Here, take a look at the timeline as well. It's even more of an apparent problem here, and the new Twitter layout isn't helping much. So this is an example of bad spacing. This site is totally designed for mobile phones, not 27-inch computer monitors. Now, back to Steam. I think it has the spacing down quite well. It looks stylish while not leaving too much dead space on the page. Now, you won't be able to have the same amount of games on one page as before, but in my opinion, I don't think that scrolling is that big of an issue. Also, you have to take into account that this screen cap is not from a full screen Steam window. It's not actually maximized entirely. You can see that from the icon on the top right. It wouldn't look like this when it's actually maximized. So the page may look a little bit more spaced out when it's properly fitted to your monitor's resolution. Moving away from spacing, there are some actual new things that we can see here. We now have a completely new landing page called the Library Home. It shows updates from your games, news articles, some of your games collection, and friends activity. This could make it easier to kind of have a bird's eye view on what's going on today on Steam, and what your friends are doing. Now, don't worry, your games pages aren't going away at all. In fact, they have been improved somewhat from the first iteration. It has a completely new design, yet everything you love is still here. Underneath the big game banner and title, you get some quick info about when you last played the game, for how long you've played it up until this point, and how many achievements you have gathered so far. Moving down, we can see the events and updates panel. Events being revamped too. This is similar to the current news section, but rather than a list, it's now a series of blocks. It still shows exactly the same information though. It still shows 3 news articles just like before. It only adds a nice picture to it. I'm wondering what it would look like if a news article doesn't have a picture though. Next to the events and updates panel, we have a list of people who are currently playing the game and friends who own the game. Below that, we can find panels for the game's DLC, achievements, trading cards, and screenshots. The trading card section being completely new to this page. Looks like Valve is still really into this trading card feature. Next to that, we have some space for the recent activity from your friends playing the game. You'll see stuff like screenshots and achievements your friends have gained, and last but certainly not least, we have the workshop section. All the way at the bottom, tucked away from view. Honestly, I'm not a fan of the placement of the workshop panel. I think it should be more on top of the page, like how it is now. It just kinda seems like Valve didn't really care about the workshop here, even though it's a big reason why people play on Steam in the first place, the easy access mod support certain games have. Maybe we'll be allowed to move certain elements around, crafting our own experience, but for some reason I highly doubt that that will be the case. I don't see any buttons or options that allow for such a degree of customization, although it would be kinda neat to see. You could put the stuff that really matters to you on top of the page while hiding the trash that you don't need. Sounds like a good feature to me. So this all certainly looks interesting, and I can't wait for Valve to introduce a beta of some sorts where we can try this out. I would definitely love to be in that beta. Now please remember that anything that was shown here were probably not final designs. They could change in the lead up to the release of the beta, which we don't know anything about either. I'll post about it when I do know more. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. If you like what you saw today, don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe to the channel. More videos like these and bigger videos are coming up. Just keep an eye out for them. Following me on Twitter would certainly help with that. It's @farlumi and it's linked in the description below. Alright, I gotta go now. I'm approaching a planet and they're having one of their fleets blocking my path with giant guns out. So, guess I'll just try to talk to them? See you guys later.